Hey everybody, Mike here with Cactus Crawlers RC. Thanks for coming by and checking out the channel today. Well, I'm back with the Axial UTB18, and I've done a little bit of work to it, but for the most part it's remained pretty much stock. So what I've done is I've changed out the tires from the stock ones, and at first I tried out the Tusks from J Concepts in a class 1 size with some stamped steel wheels, and I decided to change those out with my Trailfinder 2, and I put those on the Trailfinder, and I put these wheels and tires from the Trailfinder onto here. So these are the stock ones that came with the TF2 from RC 4-wheel drive, and they're 1.55 wheels. And these are just some pretty stiff tires that come from RC 4-wheel drive. They're called the Mud Thrashers. They say Mud Thrashers scale off-road. And there's not really anything special to them. They are kind of stiff. I ended up taking the foams out of them because they were just too stiff with the foams in there. And other than the wheels and tires, the other thing I did is I stretched the wheelbase out by relocating the lower links to the top, and in place of the lower links, I took these longer links off of the Red Cat Gen 7 and kind of stretched it out a bit more. And the reason I did that is I had an idea what I wanted to do with the UTB18, and now it's time to go ahead and move forward with that idea. So my idea was to fit this body, the Tamiya Sand Scorcher, onto there. And I've seen a few people do this conversion with the Bugger chassis from Spare Time Hobbies, and that kit includes a chassis with 3D printed pieces, including a scale engine that you could put on there. I also have another friend of mine that used an RC 4-wheel drive chassis that was very short, and he was able to modify the Sand Scorcher body on there. So for me, I was thinking that I should be able to go ahead and just modify the stock Buggy chassis to go ahead and accept this body. And the way I was thinking of doing that was by having some posts come out of the bottom of the chassis here, RC 4-wheel drive style, and drilling holes in the body where they would clip into it. And so when it was all said and done, we're probably going to be looking at something like this. So not too bad. So that's pretty close to where it would be with the post down here coming in through the bottom. And that's the main reason that I went ahead and wanted to stretch the rear end out, because I wanted to fit this wheelbase. So I think that's going to look pretty good. So I think the first thing I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to strip down the UTB chassis and start figuring out how I'm going to modify it. If I mess this up, all is not lost, because a replacement chassis for the UTB18 is less than 20 bucks. Or I could go ahead and just convert it entirely with one of the little compact chassis that you could put onto the UTB18 and just make a really little hardcore crawler out of it. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and strip this body down, going to remove all the lights, and I'm probably going to see where I'm going to be cutting this top off, because I think what I want to do is just remove the top, put in a flat piece of polystyrene in there so I can make an interior, but I will have to remove all the top of the post there, and I'll use what's left of the chassis to go ahead and build off of. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take off all the panels, get the interior out, the lights off, strip it down, and let's see what I have to work with. Alright guys, so here we go. I have the UTB18 stripped down of just about everything that I could. So of course I've got all the panels taken off of it, and I'll put those in a box for future use. I'll put that out of the way. I've also taken off the grill, the rock lights, the headlights, and the top lights there. So of course I'm thinking I might be able to reuse those in the future too. So I'm going to hang on to those. I've got the interior removed along with the drivers. I removed the gas tank out of the back, and because I removed the gas tank out of the back, I was able to take off these rear shock mounts, and I relocated the rear shock mounting area to the back part of the mount, which was right there. And so what that did is allowed me to move the shock back even more, since I did stretch out the wheelbase. This rear shock was laying down a lot, and I really had to screw down the spring preload just to get the back to come back up. But by relocating the shock mount, the upper shock mount back over here, I was able to regain that stock preload that the rear shock had. So that was a good thing to get back. Now, as far as the studs at the bottom, I have this all thread that I could work with, and I've already divided it out into 4 pieces, about 2 inches a piece. And I'm not going to need 2 inches. I mean, the most is going to be about 1 1/4 inches coming out the side. But I figure if I just divided it this way, bolted it on there, set it all up, and then I could cut it as short as it needs to be. Alright, that's going to be my next step, to hack off the top of this cage, and we'll start getting the all thread in there, and we'll see how we can get that bug body on there. Alright everybody, here's the point of no return. The top of the cage is cut. And so what I also did was I cut my all thread into 4 different pieces. And I've drilled out the holes at the bottom here, so I'll be able to screw these in. And once all the all thread is installed and secured, then I could go ahead and I could take the body and lay it up there and figure out where I'm going to drill my holes in the body for the all thread, and then how short, where I'm going to cut the all thread to shorten it up. So that's going to be my next steps, but here we go. We're going to figure this out one way or another. Hang on, guys. Alright guys, so here it is, and you can see the studs there on the side, the all thread on the side that's going to hold on the body. And here's how I did it. If you could look in there really close, I have a piece of brass tubing that goes the width of the inside, and this all thread is going inside the brass tubing on each side about 1 inch, maybe 1 inch or so, and that way I'm able to adjust it by screwing it in and out. And I have lock nuts up against the chassis, so that way the all thread doesn't work its way out. And then on the end of the all thread I have more nuts that are going to restrict the body from going in further and popping off one side. So right now they're kind of loose. I'll have to put some thread lock on there to keep them in place once I get it going. So here's the body, and I've drilled holes on each side where the all thread's going to pop through. And so when I go to put the body on, there we go, just like that. And it'll hold it on. Of course, it's not going to hold it on in a big hard crash or anything. It will pop off, but I don't think I'm going to be driving this car really hard. It's just going to be for like trail running and very light crawling. When you look inside the body, I have a lot of room to create my own interior in there. And from the rear, not too bad. All right, I like it. So there's still a whole lot more work to go on this body. Of course, I'm going to have to prep the body for paint, primer, and paint it. Once it's painted, I'm going to have to add on all the accessories like the headlights and windows and glass and stuff like that. UTB18 with the Tamiya Sand Scorcher body on there. Something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm glad I got it done finally. So, hey everybody, thanks for checking out this episode of Cactus Crawlers RC. Come back again next time. I'll do some more work on this Baja Bug UTB18, and we'll see you all then.